He's told me that there's one leopard which comes and drinks water in the rainy season at the foot of the site, the 9 acres. I was like, wow, fantastic. Then 44 was more of a residential. Yes, this is the farmhouse project.
Bollywood
Yes.
celebrity.
Yes. So he's.
Let's find some interesting short answers.
That's very difficult.
So
It's always form follows function, and function follows context, and context follows your requirements.
Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today's episode is really special because we have a renowned architect as our guest. He is based in Mumbai and has worked on many prestigious projects in India and UAE. इसमें से कुछ residential projects हैं और कुछ commercial, but in some में एक unique contemporary touch है and a level of sophistication that not everyone can achieve. They have worked with some leading Bollywood stars and many others. With an educational background in architecture and years of experience in design, there is no limit to the amount of knowledge he has, and मैं तो excited हूँ इनसे बात करने के लिए. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Naved Patel. Yeah, so my first question is, give us some background about the firm, when did you start it, what was your background when you started it?
Well, it all started back in 1995. I joined architecture. I think that's where we start from. Stepping into your institution the first day, and you would not know what teaching you're being inclined to and what sort of curriculum it's going to be for architecture, because all of a sudden from math, science and all that, you're getting into some technical drawing and intense work. You've been hearing things, but well, it all started in 1995, and passed out in 2001. One of my friend came to me and he said, I'm starting a firm on architecture, and would you be interested to join it? I was like, okay, give me a day and I'll answer you back, because at that time I was doing my interns with Uttam Jain, Architects. So 6 months have been passed by, and yes, I think that was also wrapping up to an extent, and I was like, why not? Seems a good idea to, because we've been boasting too much in our architecture curriculum, where we're talking about our concepts and your creativity and your creative juices flowing in. So I said maybe this is the time, and we could start off with that, and it all started in 2001 with this firm called Evolution. So three of us we came together and we started this firm, and we did pretty much good work in that. It went on till 2000 until 2013, 14 beginning, and I think there was a time where a couple of them, they thought that their fate is not in architecture, and they want to explore. So one of them went into Bollywood and the other one went into marketing. So as I said, it's very important when you realize when you are an architect, when you want to do architecture, when you want to continue. So all these things are your personal interest bound and your inclination towards the subject, basically. So well, in 2014, I decided to find and stands for Architect Naved Designs. And before that, there was a very heavy background of work which we had done in architecture. We did a couple of multiplex projects, we did a mall, we did an office building back in Mumbai, and we did a couple of interior works. Since then, till now, we've completed almost more than 60 projects in a way.
From many years, when architects would reach out to a builder, it was more through relationship building. So my question is it the same that you have to do relationship building to, let's say, approach a builder? Or you would think social media is more important, that they should find you somehow, and if you have your own personal brand?
Well, as I said, it's the hen and the egg. Very important for clients to understand an individual, behind the scene. So until and unless you know the individual, you know the conduct, and you know the prospects of it, then only I think that trust comes in. And I think it's more of trust building than connectivity.
Sure. And so you think that some of that trust building can happen naturally through one's portfolio or works that one puts out on social media? Can that initial, one would land some trust in the other party, can that happen through a social media page or a portfolio, so to say?
social media handles are definitely helpful in at least educating the people about what sort of what architecture is, and what interior is, and how the two comes together, or how they are different, or how the two comes together. And I think we see a small write-ups, pops up posts and stories and all, where people tend to educate you. And I think it's very important. It's a parallel institute by itself, which is running along with your formal training. And I think it's really fantastic. It does definitely, yes, coming back to your question, yes, it does really help in promoting yourself on. What are some key factors that builders would need to keep in mind when they approach an architectural firm? More genre specific in terms of what sort of project they intend to do. So development, as I said, development. Yeah, developers come from, we don't blame them actually, because they come from a particular mindset, and they come from business module. Because they are being taught about more of profits and losses, and their mindset and their atmosphere works around those logical questions which is there. And that's where, when they come to the architect, it's very important for the architect to answer these questions to them as to what sort of profits, in terms of the expenses which they are going to incur, and what sort of comfort level, or satisfaction which they are going to get once they engage you with onto a project. But yes, I think they need to balance themselves out with what sort of profit, what sort of loss they're going to incur into the project. As I said, they have to balance it out. They don't have to opt it out, and they also have to weigh in the creativity which one self is going to bring in with the approach to the project which is there. Let's start with your latest award-winning project. Yeah, you are referring to the interior project, the Fortune apartment. Oh, this apartment comes in with all the learning experience we've had in the last 15 years about interiors, and also pre-era of architecture, and how we can, improvise a 5,000 square feet apartment. So this 5,000 square feet duplex apartment is based in Mumbai, on a very busy street, on in a high-rise building on a 15th, 16th floor. It's a duplex apartment, and sprawling over a single floor of 2,500 square feet floor plate. So the idea was, it was any which ways loaded, the project, with 5 bedrooms, and there was a living room, and it was more of a large family. And they all get together at times, and they want to spend time together, is what the client brief was. And how do we cater to that, keeping the privacy of people intact in that. And we did a lot of brainstorming in terms of planning, and planning was the key to the whole aspect of this project, when we say. So, as I told them that we need to go with the flow. We don't have to worry about how it's going to look like, because we have a particular structure in front of us, and it's a rigid RCC structure, and we have to program ourselves around these rigid, concrete, elements in the house, and how we can play with natural light, because the house was largely east facing. You see, it was an east facing house. It was 70 to 80% east facing on both the floors, and north and south. So there was no west. Because I think in Bombay, I think people are more attracted towards the west, because the sundown effect, and all that. Yeah. But I think we took this aspect to our advantage of an east facing house, and I think an east light coming in from the east side is a more inviting, a more brighter light, and light as a reflection. I think how B.B. Doshi sir has also said it, that light is all about reflection, and when it falls on a surface, how it reflects. So the idea of how we could generate various surfaces within the given program, and how light would behave, revolve, and reflect around with these surfaces was some of the key factors of what how we plan to approach ourselves with the project.
What was the available height at this project?
I think ceiling height is always a challenge in Mumbai city, because I think we are struggling for every not inch, but every millimeter of lengths and breadths and heights in Mumbai. And the key factor to a successful design in the Mumbai city is people ask first question: How much storage are you going to give me? That's the family asks, because I think when you're talking about 5,000 square feet, you're getting in a lot of stuff along with that, along with you. There's a lot of luggage along with you, and that's the first question they ask. And I think a successful design is implementing the right storage, and not highlighting it, and introducing into your project with some hidden doors, some flush surfaces, and only the client knows that there's a space behind it, and somebody who is visiting, and the visitors and guests would not be aware that there are certain factors hidden behind these things. I think
Yeah.
these kind of very successful factors to woo a client, and getting them satisfied with thing, and this was one of the factors which was there.
Yeah. So the height would have been anywhere between 9 to 10.5 feet. Because
No,
you were
it varied from around somewhere. At some places it was around 8 feet. It went up to 9.5 feet. It went at some places it was 10 feet, because there are a lot of these beam column structures.
Yeah, yeah.
As I said, there were a lot of adjustments in planning which we had to do. The requirement was more of six bedroom, where we discussed, and we came down to five bedroom, and two of them master bedroom, ensuite bedrooms, almost 800 square feet each bedroom. And with doing all these things, the house was more of a 2 3 BHKs combined. So we can understand that the architect or the engineer who's designing it has designed it with those parameters in mind.
Sure. Would you also want to talk about some special features or key aspects of this project as it is getting built now?
There were three, four aspects to it. There were some brief which was given to us by clients also, and one of the very very enthusiastic brief what they had given us was they wanted one corner where they want to. There were a lot of females in the house, not to have any gender this thing, but it's more of they wanted like a selfie corner. So they have a lot of guests, and they entertain a lot of people, and into the house. So they have this habit of taking mementos, and pictures and all that. So they wanted this one selfie corner. And what started off as a selfie corner turned out to be the most glamorous and most inviting factor of the house, which was the pixelated mirror wall.
This one sounded very, very interesting. Let's talk about at least one more project.
44 was more of a residential. Yes, this is the farmhouse
Okay.
project. Yes.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. This is a 3D.
So we can talk about this.
Let's
Yes.
talk about this one. Is there a name that you've given to this project?
We call it a farmhouse project. So this is based in Badlapur actually. It's in midst of a Badlapur forest. This site was actually where. So the client was telling me that the site was 9 acres, and he was telling me that just to have our conversation going. He's told me that there's one leopard which comes and drinks water in the rainy season at the foot of the site, the 9 acres. I was like, wow, fantastic. I mean, you can't get better than that, in terms of how conscious can you become about architecture now. So this was the actual test of how you can do justice to the ecosystem also along with the building. Yes.
Sure. So tell us about the insights of the farmhouse. How many bedrooms, bar, home theater, kitchen? Tell us more about those.
It started off from 8,000 square feet and went on to 11,000 square feet of spaces. I would not call it rooms. I would call it more of spaces. We made a very conscious effort of not having a formal conventional door to the house. There is no conventional door, wooden door, or a solid door to the house. So the whole idea of how the privacy would rope in, and how would security rope in, how would the person experience, because we thought that uh, the whole 9 acre site is the house. Why only this 1 acre? And the 1 acre was only because we had to build something over there, let things flow in, and use the context of the trees and the landscaping which is there. So we had very conscious landscaping aspect also to flow in with the context of the sloping site and the trees and how we want to go about with the planning of that. And the most important factor was, if you see in some of our proposals, we have these trees popping up from concrete cutouts in slabs. So these are actual trees which have been retained or relocated within the site to accommodate within our built form, and where our built form would be. So the whole idea of the courtyard entrance came in. Even the living room, like it opens up into a deck, into a large deck, where they could have a semi-open dining space also there. So there was another dining space where they wanted it to be, it just opens up into the sloping field, right looking up to the mountains of the Karjats and the Mathurans and all that. So from the deck, you just go there, sit there, and see that. So it was a long span, columnless structure, all built in concrete. We wanted to introduce, because it was all columnless structure. We wanted it 50, 60 feet, where non-interrupted views would be there, sitting across and enjoying from the living room, which was there. And yes, these are some of the various aspects of planning we introduce ourselves into this project.
Well, that's some symphony of concepts, and it was really beautiful hearing about that. We'd love to corroborate my understandings of the project with the 3Ds, perhaps. But I'll come back with the shorter questions, and we'll need some shorter answers. Those, let's find some interesting short answers.
That's very difficult.
So, what would you like more, projects in India or outside?
Both.
Okay. Plywood versus solid wood?
Solid wood.
Many more projects with smaller budgets or lesser projects with bigger budgets?
Lesser projects with bigger budgets.
Commercial versus residential?
Both.
Your favorite furniture brand?
Nothing specific, but anything which soothes to the eye is a good element of furniture.
What's your favorite stone type?
Stone is, I think, granite, kota. There are a lot of Indian marbles which are available in the market, which are non-explored. I think we've used that in one of our projects. I think Makrana is one of them, and kota is another non-explored stone which is there.
One message that you would want to give to your prospective clients?
Messages, I think, whenever you opt to have any designer or architect on board, I think just believe in yourself and believe in the architect. I think the connect comes in over a period of time, and it's always a trust build factor, which once you interact, you would know how connectivity and the trust flows in into each other.
Right, sir. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Same here. We'll keep connected.
Wow, that was a conversation I'll never forget in my life. कहाँ मिलते हैं ऐसे मौके to interact with the biggest names in the industry. I'm very happy that I got this opportunity, and if you feel the same, also follow us on our Instagram page to like, share and subscribe this video.